Sirius XM NASCAR Radio.
NASCAR News now.
The West Coast Swing kicks off for NASCAR Sunday at Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California, the last race on the current 2-mile configuration at that racetrack, something that Daniel Suarez's crew chief, Travis Mack, told us here in the morning drive he hates to see go.
I hate that they're tearing down the racetrack. Such a great racetrack. I love the bumps and how tough the track is on the driver, and you can run the bottom on the apron or you can run up against the wall. So I hate they're changing the racetrack. Kind of wish they wouldn't. Wish we could stay there and keep the track like it is. It always makes for a great race.
Ryan Blaney's crew chief Jonathan Hassler told Dave Moody on Sirius XM Speedway he's hoping some things that went wrong last year for the team there will go right Sunday at Auto Club.
Like I said, our speed last year was really strong. We kind of had some issues, self-induced issues on pit road all day and kind of lost track position over and over again. But we were able to drive to the front multiple times. So we'll build on that and, some of our intermediates from the end of the year last year and hopefully have a strong car this weekend.
New faces, new superstars, and new rules. MLB Network Radio spring training tours are underway. Listen today at 5 Eastern for our stop at Nationals Camp in Florida, then at 7 Eastern from A's Camp in Arizona as we get you ready for the start of another baseball season. You can find your team's tour date on Twitter at MLB Network Radio and listen all day for updates from around the Cactus and Grapefruit Leagues on Sirius XM 89 and, of course, anytime on the SXM app, included with all of our trials and popular plans. That's the Morning Drive News for Friday, February 24th, 2023. I'm Pete Pistone.
We've got a big weekend.
TMD.
Got to make sure you got your ducks in a row.
Weekend preview.
Can't ask for much more than that.
Sunday's Paula Casino 400 will be the 33rd and final NASCAR Cup Series race to be run on the 2-mile Auto Club Speedway.
But now Labonte is starting to close the gap. Labonte, as close as he's been in the last 10 laps, he's closing it down now to about 8 car lengths.
And he's got 1 lap left to get it done. And if he's going to run down Jeff Gordon probably holding his breath as he goes under the white flag, hoping the fuel will hang in there and get him back to victory lane. He's down in turn 1.
He's made it cleanly down to turn 1. Now entering turn number 2. Jeff Gordon down to the inside line, brings it back up, just very gently getting back into that throttle for the last time. He's off turn 2 and on the long back straightaway here at the California Speedway.
Jeff Gordon coming down the backstretch, but here comes Terry Labonte. The gap is still about 8 car lengths. Gordon comes into turn 3, rides a nice middle line through the 14-degree banking. It's all Jeff Gordon in the DuPont Chevrolet as he comes off of turn 4.
Mark Martin has run out of fuel, but Jeff Gordon is going to go the distance. He comes to the start-finish line, and Jeff Gordon will win the California 500 by Napa. Gordon scoring his 7th win in 1997.
Jeff, for a long time today, it looked like it was a 2-car race, but the first question is, how much fuel is left in that Chevrolet?
It ran out. It ran out coming off of turn 4. I mean, I was running part throttle down the straightaways. I could tell that looked like Terry was conserving a little bit too, so when he backed up, I'd back up. I just tried to keep him in my mirror and stay ahead of him. I got a little worried when Mark Martin got in front of me because I started pushing real bad, and I thought, hey, he's going to go ahead and try to go for it, but they had to come in. But crew did an awesome job, calculating the fuel mileage and great pit stops all day. Want to thank Chevrolet. This Chevrolet was awesome today, and it was great to put in victory lane.
That's how it sounded June 22nd, 1997. Dan Hubbard, Barney Hall, Joe Moore, Alan Bestwick, and Jim Phillips with the call of the first ever race at Auto Club Speedway, opening 26 years ago as California Speedway. Jeff Gordon taking him to the woodshed that day in a fuel mileage race. That win would help propel Jeff to his 2nd of his 4 NASCAR Cup Series championships. This weekend's festivities will kick off with the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It will be their 33rd and final trip to the 2-mile Auto Club Speedway. Tyler Reddick is interloping this weekend, running Sunday and running Saturday, and he loves it, especially at a track like Fontana.
One of my top 5 racetracks that we go to. Just so fun, so many lanes, so challenging. It's really tough place, and I've always enjoyed racing there. So I'm really excited to get to have one more opportunity in the next gen car. Really excited for the opportunity with Sam Hunt Racing to go in there and race with them in the 24. So yeah, we're going to make the most of this last trip on the circuit, and hopefully we can come away with some wins out of it.
The weather forecast early in the weekend is not promising. Looks like some precipitation will hit Fontana. And Austin Hills crew chief Andy Street explained how it will impact the schedule for the Xfinity Series this weekend.
Not knowing exactly when we're going to get the race in, it looks like several inches of rain each day is going to fall. So once the rain stops, it's going to be the drying game at that point. That place has a lot of weepers, and it seems to take a while for it to really dry up and be prepared to have the event. So we could easily have a night race this go round. Haven't had a night race, I don't think, in Xfinity history in a long time. So I know everybody's going to do the best they can to try to get the race in on time, but I don't know. I don't know if Mother Nature's going to allow us to do that.
The NASCAR Xfinity Series Production Alliance Group 300, 150 laps, 300 miles, stage breaks at laps 35 and 70. You can catch it on FS1. Here's our broadcast schedule for tomorrow on the channel. It'll kick off 7 a.m. Eastern, the front stretch with Pat Patterson. It'll be Press Pass with Brad Gilley and Reed Spencer at 11 a.m. Eastern. At 2 o'clock Eastern tomorrow, Motor Racing Network will join us for practice and qualifying coverage, followed by Dialed In with Claire B. Lang at 4. MRN goes back on the air at 4:30 with NASCAR Xfinity Series coverage. Claire B. on the backside of the Xfinity Series race, and with you until 9 p.m. Eastern. On Sunday, Race 2 of 2023 for the NASCAR Cup Series. And after winning the Daytona 500, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Mike Kelly, and the JTG Daugherty crew lead the charge into Southern California, something Ricky is looking much forward to.
I feel like we've made a lot of gains this offseason. We've been in the simulator more than we were last year. This offseason, I've made more laps in the simulator than I got all last season. And so, we've got more resources with Chevrolet. We got more resources with our Hendrick alliance, and I'm excited to get to some not super speedway racetrack.
A.J. Allmendinger looking to follow up a strong Daytona 500 with a good run Sunday in Fontana. And like most drivers, he is sad to see the 2-mile configuration go away at Auto Club Speedway.
Our 1.5 mile package and just our bigger racetrack when it comes to 1.5 mile and 2 mile racetracks, I felt were our strength last year. We know how it is in the offseason. Everybody works on those packages and is fine-tuning them, trying to make it better. But hopefully when we get there, or we will get there, and whenever we do race, we'll have good speed in the race car. But Fontana is a fun racetrack. It's going to be kind of sad that it's really the last time running on that configuration, because it's really become one of the racetracks, I think, that puts on great races.
Christopher Bell will be wheeling the Sirius XM car this weekend. That Toyota Camry, looking to have it up front, see it up front, have a chance to win the race. Steve Bell loves racing at Fontana. It's a track, though, that produces a lot of unknowns for him.
Lines on the racetrack, I don't exactly know where my car is going to be best at. I've gone there before where I was really good around the top, and I've gone there before where I do pretty good on the bottom. So that's one thing that makes California a lot of fun, is being able to pick your grooves and move around. And the only thing we want as race car drivers is to be able to pass the car in front of us if we're faster than them. And thankfully, at a place like California, you are able to pass if you're faster than the guy in front of you.
The Auto Club racing surface is certainly sensitive to the weather conditions, and Ryan Blaney explained what cool temperatures might do to the racing on Sunday.
When it's cold, it hurts the racing because it doesn't widen out, right? The track's not hot and slick, so you're not, moving around as much as, any other place. And I'll be curious to see. I think the 4th and 5th lane are still going to play, but it might even keep the bottom lanes a little bit more competitive. So you might even see more grooves come into play, especially 10 laps on into a run. So I think that's just going to make it even better racing. There'll be even more options.
Ryan's crew chief Jonathan Hassler is looking forward to going to Fontana just for the sake of normalcy.
We're all kind of excited to kind of move into a little bit more of the normal style tracks, if you will, and kind of back into the normal format where we can do our 20 minutes of practice and qualify and impound and race. So, yeah, everybody's kind of excited about that, but it seems like we might get yet another curveball. So we'll do the best we can with it. We were really strong in Fontana last year despite kind of our finish. So I'm excited about what we can bring back this year, even regardless of the conditions.
Despite the potential weather conditions, Chris Gabehart, Denny Hamlin's crew chief, looking forward to getting to Fontana and has a good sense about his driver's fortunes on Sunday.
Weepers and wet asphalt's going to be something we talk about a lot this weekend. But once we do get racing, I think the race will be really good. I think a year under our belts with the next-gen car will produce a really exciting Fontana race, and I feel pretty good about it. I think a lot of the math, I guess we'll say, made sense to us last week and this week leading up to this race, and hopefully we can get out there and have a good showing.
William Byron's crew chief is Rudy Fugel. Rudy says Fontana should play into Willie B's wheelhouse.
It's a driver's track if you can give him a balance that he can maneuver. So you have to be in that box. It's not too loose, not too tight. You can be a little bit one way or the other and let the driver do the work. But if you can do that and give him a car that can he can feel and use the steering wheel and the throttle, and it can the driver can do a lot of things. So long straightaways, you got to get off the corner. Yes, you carry a ton of speed getting to the corner, but really setting yourself up for those exits and making the straightaway as long as you can is key.
Because of the porous surface of the racetrack, tire management will be the key in terms of strategy, according to Joey Logano's crew chief, Paul Wolf. And don't expect any fuel mileage racing on Sunday.
I don't expect to see a fuel mileage race this weekend. It'll be more about tires. So I think at times we've seen different strategies there. At times there could be question marks of, you typically look at the stages this weekend. They're around that 65 laps. Likely you'll see everyone just kind of split that in half. I believe fuel windows, in the 50 lap range. So you don't get close on that.
To Paul's point, the Pala Casino 400 will be a stage break at lap 65, a stage break at lap 130, 200 total laps, 400 miles. 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, the field will be broken down into groups A and B, and here's how they break down.
In Group A, you'll have Ty Dillon, Eric Jones, William Byron, B.J. McLeod, Austin Dillon, Michael McDowell, Harrison Burton, J.J. Yaley, Noah Gregson, Bubba Wallace, Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr., Corey LaJoie, Kevin Harvick, Ross Chastain, A.J. Allmendinger, Alex Bowman, and Daytona 500 winner Ricky Stenhouse Jr. In Group B, Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott, Chase Briscoe, Justin Haley, Ryan Preece, Todd Gilliland, Ty Gibbs, Kyle Busch, Austin Cindric, Eric Almirola, Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Cody Ware, Ryan Blaney, Daniel Suarez, Chris Buescher, Joey Logano, and in the Sirius XM car, Christopher Bell.
Group A will get 20 minutes of practice, then Group B will get 20 minutes of practice. Then they all will take a lap around the Auto Club Speedway. It'll be 2 rounds of qualifying. The top 10 will make a run for the pole, and that will determine who will lead the field to the green flag in the Pala Casino 400. Our coverage Sunday begins at 7 a.m. Eastern, the front stretch with Pat Patterson. We'll give you loose ends at 11 a.m. Eastern, the best of Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. 1 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. It'll be Fantasy Racing Preview with Pistol Pete. 2 p.m. Eastern, Dialed In with Claire B. Lang. Motor Racing Network's coverage of the NASCAR Cup Series will hit the air at 2:30 p.m. Eastern with NASCAR Live Race Day. Once the race concludes, it'll be post-race coverage, analysis, and reaction with you. The Sirius XM NASCAR Radio post-race show with Claire B. Lang and Brad Gilley will go until 9 Eastern, and then Dialed In with Claire B. Lang until 10 p.m. in the East. Here are your driver-to-crew chatter channels for the Pala Casino 400. You can hear Kyle Larson on Sirius 136, XM 380, streaming on 980. Christopher Bell, in control of the Sirius XM Toyota Camry, can be heard on Sirius 137, XM 381, streaming on 981. And Kyle Busch can be heard on Sirius 138, XM 382, streaming on 982. All of those channels will go live at 3:30 Eastern on Sunday.